Hi, welcome to another session of Thriving Through the Holidays. I am your host, Tracy Osborne. With me today is my dear friend, Susan Ball. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Susan is an abuse recovery expert, a disruptor. We're going to have to talk about that, Susan. Live experience speaker and a best-selling author. Recovery After Abuse blossomed from Susan's own abusive relationships and is built on the belief that all women are entitled to live free, fulfilled, and fearless lives. Susan's on a mission empowering women to rise up, show up, free their voices, and move from victim space to the courageous and healing space. Okay, Susan, tell me about this disruptor.
Well, I've been a little bit of a disruptor because I speak about domestic violence in slightly different ways than other people speak about it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So I have been labeled as a disruptor or as someone who is not compliant, which is bullying, by the way, and abusive in and of itself.
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to embrace the disruptor title.
I kind of like that because you're a lot like me and you're a little more on the abrasive side and not so much on the soft, pansy, coddling side. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to be a disruptor too.
Yeah, because all those friends who are saying to you, it's okay, honey, they're not really getting you through it.
Yeah.
There's a place for that. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for that. But there also has to be a push.
Awesome. Well, we're actually not just talking about disrupting in this session. We're actually going to talk about loneliness. And something that Susan brought up in the green room was especially how Hallmark movies make you feel like holidays have to be this sparkling, perfect, happy time of year. And it's a bunch of crap. Really is.
Yep. Unfortunately, the marketing out there in the world, Tracy, and we all know the marketing, sets us up to feel very lonely and unwanted during the holidays. It's like Valentine's Day. It's the same thing. If you don't have the guy who's bringing you the white roses forever and all of that stuff, somehow you're less than. You're not qualified. You didn't do it right. It's the same thing with Christmas, the holidays, Thanksgiving, all of that kind of stuff. So I get a lot of people who contact me because they're lonely or they're feeling loneliness. And the first thing I want to say is that that's an emotion. And like all of our emotions, we need to embrace it.
Right.
We need to embrace it. Yes, I'm feeling lonely.
And, you know, you can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely.
Oh. That is so true. And that's actually a deeper kind of loneliness, in my opinion, because I've been there. I've been to like family get-togethers and you just feel like you are really not part of the group. You don't belong there.
Yeah.
So it's very lonely. It's very, yeah.
It is. I talk about a family reunion I went to quite often a few years ago, and I had that feeling. I didn't belong anymore because I wasn't this perfect little, anything. And it was a pissing contest, basically. You know, who had the best life? I mean, I hadn't seen these people since I was a teenager. So who had the best life? Who had this? Who had that? Oh my God, my cousin got married in Hawaii and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care. So I didn't fit in because I don't care.
The same, it reminds me of group therapy after domestic violence.
Yeah.
It's a one-upmanship.
Yes.
Right? Yes, that happened to you, but to me, blah, blah, blah. And you end up in this sort of competition of who got it worse.
Yeah. And that's not healing. That's not healing at all. But we're getting a little off track. We really want to focus on the holidays because the holidays are right around the corner. You and I are talking on the 2nd of November. So they are like right around the corner. I can see them. I went into Walmart today and they had like I don't know, 20 people working on stocking all the Christmas stuff. It was crazy.
It's exploding already.
So when we go to our family functions, or we don't go to our family functions because we're not invited to our family functions, this is that time of year where suicide rates are high because we're supposed to be around family. So, how do we embrace the loneliness and then overcome the loneliness?
Two big things that I discovered in my journey, because when I left my guy who tried to kill me that day, I lost my children in all of that. So I had my very first Christmas without my children. I felt very sorry for myself. It was, I drank too much. The following year, I still didn't have my children living with me, and I had to wait until Boxing Day, the 26th, to get them for Christmas. And I discovered, instead of being, Christmas Eve, all sad and that, I did something that really helped me, and it has helped other people. I decided to give up myself, to do something to make Christmas mine. I didn't have a mom and dad anymore. I didn't have a family to go to. So I thought, how can I take this holiday and own it the way that I want to own it? So that I feel that it's mine, that I'm not answering to the marketing machine, and I'm not looking to make a Hallmark movie. I'm just doing this thing. So I came up with this idea. My girls and I did it later. We did this thing called Cupcake Christmas, where we would buy cupcakes or make them and then give them out to homeless people in the city of Toronto and wish them all a Merry Christmas.
I love that.
And it just brought them so much joy in that second to be given something that they weren't expecting. It was just random and people walked up to them. And that made me feel, when I got home, even though I was so alone, I had this beautiful memory that I had created. So when I felt loneliness coming in, I would think to myself, no, you did a really nice thing. You embraced the spirit of giving, and you went out and you touched people with your smile, with your cupcakes and all of that silly stuff. So it's about shifting, finding something that really brings you joy, that when you're having those moments where you feel loneliness seeping in, you can say to yourself, yes, I'm alone, but I did this amazing thing, and tomorrow I'm going to do this other thing. And it doesn't even have to be a big thing.
Yeah, random acts of kindness can be the smallest thing, like smiling at a stranger. My favorite things are finding something, especially like at the grocery store or checkout, finding something to compliment the cashier on.
Yes.
Because they're dealing with jackasses all day long. Let's face it, I've been there. I've been in their shoes. And especially this time of year, and they need that pick-me-up. They really do. So I always try and find something to compliment them on, or, just be overly friendly toward them so that, they have something to lift their day. So, just little things like that. Pay for the guy, his Starbucks, and that's behind you, or, little random acts of kindness go a long way, especially this time of year. This is supposed to be the time of year where we all come together and love and happy and joy. And instead, it's gotten to the point where it's anger and fighting over the last toy. And, it's crazy.
That's another thing I'd like to add to this conversation, is that it is okay at this time of the year to say no to your family.
Yes.
Invite you somewhere. Going to your family is not mandatory.
Right.
You have the right to say, no thanks, I'm going to do something different. And then you can create your own holiday tradition. You have the opportunity to create a whole new, whatever it is going to be, and it can be sitting at home reading a book, Tracy, under a warm blanket with a hot chocolate and listening to Christmas songs, or listening to Elton John, or whatever it is that flips your switch. You can, you can do whatever you want, but I want people to look at it instead of looking at the marketing machine, saying, how do I want to do this day? How do I want to do this day? It's one day.
Right. And not just Christmas. Same goes for Thanksgiving. Same goes for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year.
Yeah.
You know, just one day. Yeah.
So if you can find a way to fill up your day, and if you do start to feel lonely, acknowledge that. Write about it. Journal about it. And treat it like something that's happening to you that is natural. It's not something to be afraid of.
I love being alone.
I do too. And when I started to embrace it and I started to say no to my family, my Christmases got amazing.
I'm thinking more because I've had 4 kids.
Oh.
So now that they're almost all grown and out of the house, I'm like, yeah, I really like this being alone thing. Oh, damn, one of them's here. No.
I used to say that to my mother when Mother's Day would come, and she'd say to me, what do you want the girls to do for you? And I'd say, go somewhere. Like,
go away.
Go away.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong, listeners. I absolutely adore my children, but I've been mom for 40 years, or 30 years.
There's a whole bunch of shoulds that are put on us at the holidays.
There are. Do we cook that big feast? Do we do this? Do we do that? And this year I flat said, I'm not cooking Thanksgiving. I don't know which one of y'all want to do it, but it ain't me. I'm not doing it. So my oldest is going to cook, which means I don't have to do dishes this year.
I did the same.
But I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to do Christmas, but I don't have to make this big old, I probably will anyway, but I don't have to make a big old family fancy spread of 50 different kinds of food, except for the fact that we're Italian, so that's what we do. But
me too. And it was always La Familia. And anytime I said I didn't want to go to a family event, my mother would just wring her hands like a little Italian lady. Like, yes. How can you do that to me?
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I had a thought earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but my thought was, what do you think about having like a backup buddy? So you're going to do the holidays alone, but if it gets to be too much, having that one person that you can reach out to and be like, okay, it's the darkness is creeping in, or, what are your thoughts around that?
I like that idea, and pick someone who is really and truly supportive.
Yeah.
And someone who's going to help elevate your mood. Listen to you, but then give you some constructive ways of pulling yourself out of staying there. Because you want to embrace these emotions. It's like anger, it's like sorrow, it's like all of those things. You want to embrace them. You don't want to live there.
Yeah.
So you have to have, it's okay to feel loneliness, but you have to have resources to bring you up out of that. And if it takes talking to somebody who can say to you, hey, why don't you go and do this? Or why don't you go and do that? And I'll see you tomorrow and have a great day. If that helps, great, do that. Put together your toolbox. What I tell my clients is put together your toolbox. If you're going to be alone for the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is, you're going to be alone, put together your toolbox. So start somewhere with writing down what you're going to do, what you're going to add to your day to make it your day to own it, what you're going to do if you feel yourself going too deep into kind of the dark zone. Are you going to spend the day not putting on the Hallmark channel so that you don't go down that place? Which is what I tell most of my clients, please don't do that. All right? Don't do that. It'll just make you feel awful.
Most of us coaches out there, us trauma coaches, we're going to tell you don't do that.
Don't do that. And don't do that.
Just stop.
Because you'll end up drinking that bottle of wine and crying your eyes out, and you won't even know why.
Right. It's because the girl on TV didn't get the guy.
Yeah, but she had a pretty dress. It's all sparkly.
Oh goodness, you and I. Yes.
And the pressure to spend money at this time of year is another one as well.
Yeah, that is a big one.
Yeah.
So
get your toolkit, and if it includes a person that you can call and talk to you, when you're feeling, put that in there and get their number and make sure they know that they're on that part of your toolkit. If you do crafts, put all of that together. If you need to buy yourself a nice new blanket, gift yourself something so that it's for your special day.
Absolutely.
And make it about you.
Yeah, create your own traditions. Not everything is closed on the holidays. Well, maybe Thanksgiving, most things are closed, but I know that I've gone and watched movies on Christmas
Mm-hmm.
or the movie theater, because that's usually when they put out a new Star Wars movie. Little tidbit about me, I'm a Star Wars nerd. So yeah, there's lots of things you could still do. Go hiking, go sledding, go skiing, go something. There's lots of things you can do that doesn't have to be around family. If the family gives you trauma, gives you triggers,
say no thank you.
Yeah.
Create your own traditions, create your own value in that day, create your own joy in that day. Instead of listening to the TV commercials and the Hallmark movies, define joy for yourself and comfort for yourself, because they're giving you their idea of what you should be doing.
Yeah. Marie Kondo your holidays. If it doesn't spark joy, get rid of it.
Yeah, that's one. I like that.
I think that's a blog post coming. That's kind of fun, actually.
Kondo your holidays.
Marie Kondo your holidays. If you don't know who she is, definitely Google her. Oh, Susan, this has been fun. You and I can cause so much trouble together, so we should probably stop while we're ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about loneliness and how we can overcome it and be ready for it during the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those of you listening, if you do find yourself feeling too lonely, you're spiraling into that darkness of loneliness and the pit of despair, feel free to reach out to somebody. Feel free to reach out to me. The crisis text line is also always there for you. Just text 741-741. Trained crisis counselors are there 24/7, 365. So definitely reach out to somebody. There are people out there who care about you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Pretty much every speaker on this summit will be there if you just reach out to us. But thank you for listening, and we'll definitely talk to you in one of the other sessions.
Bye for now.